Training camp starts next Tuesday. So what does that mean? That means let's talk some training camp videos. What is up, Finn fans? Training camp will be here next week. And then it's going to get real fun around here. So what I thought was, this week we're going to do a lot of training camp themed videos. So this first video I'm doing is top storylines going into training camp, whether it be this or that or this or that. I don't want to give away what I have. I have a list here. So we're going to be talking about the top storylines going into training camp. And then I'm going to get to one of you guys' comments of the day. So without further ado, I've made sure that my camera was in focus so I don't have to double record this. Let's jump into it. So I'm going to get the obvious ones out of the way quick. And what do you mean by obvious ones, Doug? Well, Tua, right? What, is Tua, how's Tua going to do? Is Tua going to this, Tua that, Tua? That is obviously one of the top storylines going into training camp, is how Tua is going to perform. How's Tua going to perform in the preseason? Is he going to be ready for the regular season? Some people think he's going to compete with Jacoby Brissett on who's the starter. Tua's the starter. It just is what it is. They have to prove a point. They took him 5th overall. Now he will be starting. So how will he perform in training camp? How will he perform? Will he have bad days? Yes, of course, he will have bad days. Every quarterback in the NFL has bad days in training camp. That's why they are training camp. Do we expect his bad days to get blown out of proportion by certain portions of the fan base and part of the media? Of course, yes, 100% yes, because that's just the way the world works, unfortunately. But it's practice, so just don't have a lot of them, Tua, because then you're going to have to hear a lot of it. And then I'm going to have to deal with a lot of it. So just do well in training camp, please. The next obvious top thing and storyline going into training camp involves Xavier Howard. And will he be a Dolphin? Will he show up for training camp? Will the Dolphins give him a contract extension? Where did we trade him to? Who did we trade him to? That's the same thing, Doug. For what? So, yeah. This is going to be a short one because there's not much to talk about, being that I've made, 5 different videos talking specifically about Xavier Howard, but that is a big storyline. Will he show up? Will the Dolphins try to mend that bridge, or are they shipping him to somewhere else? Another one is, who's the running back? Who is the running back? Who's going to be the starting running back? I don't think there is going to be a Derrick Henry, an Alvin Kamara, a Delvin Cook, Aaron Jones. I don't think there's going to be a one running back for the Miami Dolphins. I think that it's going to be a running back by committee situation. I don't think the Dolphins are in the area of doing that. So I guess not only who's the running back, but how are they performing? We don't know. And then I got some more right after this, so I can interject a little, not knowledge, but a little tidbit in here. When you want to know about the offensive linemen, for one, if you don't hear them, that's a good thing. Because if you hear so-and-so got beat, giving up a sack, or so-and-so got blown up on the that's not good. For the offensive line, you don't hear about them. And you don't know how they perform when it comes to running game, offensive line, defensive line, and linebackers until the pads come on. And they don't wear pads every day at training camp. I'll let you know in the videos when they have pads on. That's when we'll know who's doing what on the offensive line. Being that I brought that up, the next story or tidbit or title or whatever I'm calling this, how will the offensive line improve? Will adding Eichenberg improve the offensive line? DJ Fluker, Skura, adding all these offensive linemen, will it make the offensive line better than it was last year? Also, will Austin Jackson do better? Will Solomon McKinley do better? Will Robert Hunt do better at right guard? These are other questions and worries we have for the offensive line, and hopefully we get answered in training camp and preseason. Also, can the defense duplicate? The defense was really good last year in getting turnovers and limiting points and stopping third down conversions. They were good in a very various, I just had like a mini stroke in the middle of me trying to say various aspects of the defensive game. They struggled at some other parts. They weren't great at passing yards, and 23rd ranked. Weren't very good at stopping the run. But they played with, within the 20s, fine. Bend not break style defense, and then they stopped you and got the turnover when it was needed. But can they duplicate that? Can they continue to be the top 10, top 5 defense they played last year to continue to build on the success of this year? Now, does that predicate on still having Xavier Howard back there to help shut down the pass game with the 1-2 combination with him and Byron? Possibly. But again, I will talk about that in a second. The next top storyline going into training camp is sophomore slumps. Will the guys that we need to step up have a sophomore slump? Tua, Austin Jackson, Robert Hunt, Noah Igbenogany, Solomon Kinley, all of these guys that were starters for us that are now second-year players, will they have a sophomore slump, or will they brush that off and continue to get better every year? We really need these guys, especially our first-round picks in Tua, Austin Jackson, and Noah Igbenogany, to have a better year this year. Now, again, I've said this time and time again, Tua had his struggles last year, but he also had his good last year. And I said this in the live stream last night. I am one that can recognize the bad, but also recognize the good. There are people out there that can only recognize the bad and want to emphasize on the bad because they think it's horrible. He was a rookie thing. Oh, Justin Herbert did this. Good for Justin Herbert. Let's see him continuously do this. If he doesn't, I don't want to hear a GD thing. But anyway, we need Tua to do better than he did last year. I want him to succeed, shut a lot of people up, but I also want him to succeed because if he succeeds, the team succeeds. And I am, for one, want the Dolphins to succeed. Does that mean adding a different quarterback? Does that mean adding this, or that? I don't care. If I see Miami at the end of the year hosting the Lombardi Trophy, I don't care if Tua is the quarterback. I don't care if Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback. I don't care if Deshaun Watson is the quarterback. I don't care if your grandmother is the quarterback. As long as they're hoisting that Lombardi Trophy, I don't care. But it would be funny if your grandmother was the starting quarterback of the Miami Dolphins and we won a Super Bowl. Call her up, see if she's available. Tell her to go to South Florida. But then you have Austin Jackson. Has to play much better than he did last year. Oh, he didn't play great last year. And Noah. Noah got he was another guy. Transitioning to corner in college is hard. So 1 minute Noah's sitting there. The next minute Byron Jones goes down after, 2 plays. Congratulations. You have to cover Stephon Diggs, one of the top wide receivers in the NFL for this game. Jeez Louise. What a way. Welcome to the NFL, rookie. So these 3 guys need to step up. So sophomore slump. And the last thing for storylines is camp standouts. There's always been a camp standout. There's always been a guy who has been wowing people at camp, and he's been consistent. For a while, it's been Preston Williams. Preston Williams is very good in camp. Then the regular season starts, and he trips on a quarter, and he hurts himself. Let's hope this year... Let's hope this year Preston Williams stays healthy, kills it, and the unicorn just continues to be successful, and our wide receiving core is ridiculous. 2019, it was Sam McGuavin. He came on, did really well. He has since disappeared. But there's some names that we heard during OTAs and minicamp that are intriguing, and I wonder if that success in the shorts of the shorts, meaning physical shorts, of the training period continues to pads and longer shorts, pants. They're not really pants, what the football players wear. It just goes past the knee. It's like tight shorts. Robert Foster, Albert Wilson, Noah Igbenogany, Javon Holland, and Trill Williams have all been names I've been hearing from OTAs and minicamp have been surprising people and playing really, really well. Obviously, Tua had his 5 interception day, and then the next day he had like a 5 touchdown day. I'm ignoring quarterbacks for now. I'm very interested to see what they have to do. I'm also very interested, this is another one that just popped in my head, what the people who need the pads to come on can do. Offensive line, running backs, I already talked about them, but the linebackers as well. I want to see how the run game goes, how getting after the quarterback goes. I want to see how Jalen Phillips does. Is he getting off of blocks? Is he getting guys off of him? How is he playing at the speed? Same thing with Emmanuel Ogbah. How's Vince Beagle looking? How is AVG looking? How's my boy, the intern, Patrick Laird, looking? I'm going to try to have him back on during the bye week, see how he's feeling. Hopefully he makes the team. But those are the storylines I got. If you have any storylines or any thoughts going into training camp that you're worried about or you're thinking about, comment them below. Let me know. And I'm going to get to one of you guys' comments of the day. And this comment comes from Dakota, and Dakota says, comment of the day. Is the reason why we haven't traded Howard yet is because we are adding more to a Howard trade if we don't get a deal out of players like Iziki or Agba? If not, why haven't we traded Howard yet? For one, I think the reason the Dolphins haven't traded Xavier Howard yet is probably because they don't want to trade Xavier Howard. I think they want to keep him and keep this team together and keep that defense together and continue to have the same success they did last year. So in all honesty, my opinion, again, I don't have as many inside sources that can tell me as much, but I honestly think the reason the Dolphins haven't traded him yet is because they don't want to. Because this was the perfect time to do it if they really wanted to trade him. I think they don't want to trade him. I think they are waiting for training camp to start. And if he does show up, they'll sit down, they'll talk with him. They'll say, what can we do to make this better? Because you have to understand something, right? Everyone has this perception that the Dolphins and Brian Flores and Chris Greer are just ice cold killers and they'll just, whenever you're gone. With Mika Fitzpatrick, they sat down with him 3 separate times. What can we do? We'd like to keep you. We're building the defense around you. Why this, that, blah, 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 blah. Nothing came to fruition. He wanted to go because he's a giant man-child. They traded him. Kenyon Drake, they sat down with him. They wanted to give him a contract extension. They wanted to keep him. He said no, he would like to test the free agent market at the end of the year. The Dolphins thought to themselves, let's get something for him, because they probably thought he won't get a big fat contract, so they won't get any comp picks for him. So they traded him. So they don't just trade you. They always, if they want to keep you, they try to work it out. So I honestly think what's happening with Xavier Howard is they're going to wait for him to come to the building, or when training camp starts, if he doesn't show up, they'll call him. Hey, come, let's sit down, let's talk about this. Let's see if we can make this work. Do you want more guaranteed money? This is what we can do. So I honestly think that's why they haven't traded him yet. It's because they don't want to. Now, there's rumors out there that the Dolphins, are going to trade him or this or that. We don't know, but that's my opinion. I honestly think that the reason it hasn't gotten done yet, because there are teams that will make a move for him. If the Dolphins only ask for a first, the Saints or, whatever team that'll probably be in the playoffs, and it'll be a late first, so kind of like an early second, will probably send the Dolphins a first and a player, no problem, for Xavier Howard. So I honestly think it has to do with essentially they don't want to trade him. But Dakota, thank you so much for the comment. Like always, guys, be sure to comment below. Like he did, leave comment of the day in the beginning of it. Again, it doesn't have to be a question. Most of them are questions. It can just be a comment, and I'll answer it or react to it. But comment below. Other than that, guys, like I said, next week, start a training camp. I'm going to be live this Sunday again. We're going to do a training camp preview video. It's going to be maybe a little later, not 9 o'clock, 9:30. But that's going to be fun. And I got 2 more training camp themed videos for you guys this week. So if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. But like usual, guys, stay classy. Fins up.